All right, it's time for TWiP Pro Photo Critique number 25. This is TWiP. All right, folks, welcome back to TWiP Pro Photo Critique number 25. I'm here with my friend, Mr. Troy Miller, to talk through some of the latest submissions to the TWiP Pro Photo Critique topic on the TWiP Pro network. Troy Miller, how you doing, man? What's going on in your world?
I'm doing good. It is hot. Of course, it's pretty much hot everywhere in California, Arizona, Nevada right now, but it's hot. So.
I just think in general on this side of the planet, it's hot. You know, it is.
It is brutal. So I'm staying inside. I don't have any weddings on this weekend, so
good.
Pretty stoked about that because the last ones were really hot. But
I can't imagine running around. Lugging all that camera gear and taking photos in 100-degree weather. I mean, Tim Engel and I recorded that little commercial for the F64 Live thing.
Yeah.
And we were out in the park down here in Sacramento. It was 100+ degrees out there. We were going to do another take of that and literally had to stop and go to Starbucks because I was like, dude, yeah, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
It literally caught up with me.
Yeah, no, it's tough. Like we prep for it. Like we prehydrate. You know, we have a certain outfit that we wear that's all moisture wicking and super thin, and it can be really tough.
Combat mode. I love it.
Yeah. Then I always feel bad for the bride and the groom because they're in a nice tux or a suit, and she's got that big dress. So
when you and Marjorie are getting ready for a wedding and getting suited up and all that, do you play the A-Team music?
No, but I could see that. Normally I use the theme for the Matrix. Yeah, I usually do.
There you go, theme to the Matrix. Cool. All right, man. Enough of our chit chat. Let's dive into the submissions. We got quite a few to go through this week.
Yeah.
So thank you to all the members who submitted your awesome entries. First one is from. Let's see, who is the first one from? I can't even see it. Look at that.
Mark Harris.
Mark Harris. Yes, there it is. Mark Harris. Let's bring him up on screen. There you go.
Yeah, cool landscape. Cool sunset.
Mm-hmm. With some voids in there.
Yeah, I like the birds in motion. I like the composition. I think that it's not split in the middle. I like that, Yeah. We got that foreground, we got that sun in there. That's pretty cool. I think it needs a little bit more contrast, though. I think a little bit more pop would really help this thing out a bit. We don't need to see into the shadows. Mm-hmm. I mean, standing there, you could see into the shadows, but photographically, we don't need to see into the shadows. So, maybe a little dehaze or clarity or something.
Yeah, I was particularly intrigued by the pattern in the sky.
Yeah, and you could really bring that out with
those look like
linear
sand.
gradient.
It looks like ripples on sand almost. The cloud pattern. It looks really interesting. Those little puffy clouds around there. I don't know how I feel about those. I don't know if I would have left them in there or taken them out. They don't really bother me, but yeah, I think if you had emphasized that sort of pattern in the sky just a little bit, not to make it overly done. Yeah, I just want to see that because it looks cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And then you got to get that little dust spot out of there.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. Right in the center at the top, right in the sand dunes.
Yeah, right in the sand dunes right there.
Yeah.
Omar Sharif standing upside down right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, good shot though. This is cool. Sunset shots, man. He's got the sunbeams coming in over the hills and everything over that tree line. Yep. Very nice. Very nice. I almost feel like I'm there. Cool. Good job, Mark Harris, and thanks for submitting this. All right, move on to the next one.
This is Joe Jordan.
Yes, Joe Jordan. Look at this. And I thought we had talked about this one in the last one. Maybe we were talking about it offline before we clicked record, but let's just, if we have recorded it, let's talk about it again.
Yeah, well, hopefully I say the same things.
I know.
Because I don't remember, but
I think I remember what you were saying, because you were saying, either you or me were saying something about cropping up from the bottom to lose that little triangle of concrete or whatever that is down there.
Right. Yep.
And maybe increasing the contrast a little bit to make him pop out more, and suppressing the background a little bit more, just to show that the guy that's power washing is the subject of the shot, and to show the steam clouds and the water a little bit better. Framing was good, I think we said, because framing with the trees. He's good use of the rule of thirds. He's got him right on an intersection right there in the lower left. So very cool there. Yep. And I forget what else you said. So maybe some of that may have triggered what you said. What do you think?
I just think it's awesome that the intentional use of vertical lines is well corrected. Those trees. Yeah. And I wonder, was this like I'm walking through the park and look at this and click and you get it, or did you see this happening from a distance and sort of plan the shot as you walked up there? Yeah. And looking at this now, I wonder how this would look in black and white. Just because of the graphic element of the pressure washer and sort of that mist from the water, that might be pretty cool. It'll sort of take attention away from, the building and the tent and all that kind of stuff, or whatever that screen maybe is, or whatever's in the background. But very cool shot and really good, timing, intentional use of lines, composition. Yeah.
Well, and you got to ask yourself, like with the whole idea of black and white, like we always say, is color adding to this image or taking away? I think on this one, it could go either direction, because like you said, taking the color away, now you're forced to look at the graphical elements that comprise the scene. But with the color in there, I get the warm feeling of like morning or late afternoon sun coming in, and that light hitting the water spray and the mist that the water spray is making. So it depends on what interpretation you want to make.
Very true. Yeah, very true. No, I dig it. And what's cool about it, I'm just looking at the thumbnails, is that I think over 50% of our images are black and white. So
yeah,
we're pretty close. Yeah, we have a lot of black and white.
Look at that. Yeah. All right. Well, cool. Thank you, Joe Jordan, for submitting that. If this was a repeat, then hey, you got 2 for 1 there.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to number 4, or the next one is Gavin Steiner submitted this one. Let's take a look at that.
I saw this one in the TWiP PRO Photo Critique channel before, and I really like it. I mean, it's a great photojournalistic moment. It's this guy looking off to his left, kind of pensive or thoughtful, carrying his sunglasses and maybe his keys or something. He's walking to or from. It looks like he's on a beach.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know if he's on a beach, which adds to the mystery, which I dig. I love the treatment, the grain and the sort of heavy vignette, and it's very stylized. I really like it. I really like this one.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't have much to add to the critique on this one. I love the stylized, high contrast with grain added. It kind of makes me feel of push processed. It has a feel of push processed T-Max. Remember that?
Right. I was just thinking we probably should be fair, because we say grain added, but you do have several members that are film shooters in the TWiP PRO community. So it may have been film that he shot this on. So
yeah, it could be. Yeah,
it's not fair to it's not fair to assume that everything's digital, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Okay. All right. But I like it. I do. I agree with I agree with you said. This tough guy walking around, got a scruffy beard, skull cap. I know you like that, right?
Yeah, skull cap, no shade. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Got his boots on, sunglasses, and I wonder what he's thinking. I wonder what this guy's thinking.
He's wondering where lunch is. That's what he's wondering.
No, he's like, I hope that body I put out there stays underwater. Yeah, I can build my own fiction for these, right?
That's profiling, and profiling is wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, it's critique. I'm building my own fictional story. Profiling versus building your own fiction.
Yeah, I dig it. No, it's all good. It's cool.
All right. Thanks a lot, Gavin, for that. Let's move on to Craig Stampley in the house with another black and white shot. Look at this. Yeah. Look at all these different geometric patterns.
Oh, this one's awesome. This one is so cool. I mean, I love the treatment. It's very edgy. I like how the whole thing just sort of has this sort of abstract Escher kind of feel to it, with all the weird lines and the steps and the shadows. this is the kind of image though that, because you have so many leading lines and so many graphical elements, you really have to look at where you've cropped in the frame and how you've filled the image. Mm-hmm. So like the point of the stairs, I wish wasn't touching the bottom of the frame, right? I mean, even if it had just the tiniest little bit of space there, that would have felt better to me, like not touching. Yeah. And then the right half of the image, where it looks like it had some heavy dodging and burning on the right, top right corner, you could almost crop that off at those pillars. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's, yeah. Why not? And just kind of bring it into those two pointy pillars on the right there. Yeah. You know what I thought you were going to say about this image? I knew you were going to say you like the black and white because you are partial to black and white. But I also thought you were going to say, yeah, this is a bride on the top of that little pyramid. Well, of course. Off to the side, right there between that little stanchion concrete thing and the steps, leaning against that wall, with your groom right there, looking at each other. Maybe, and then I would put a little off-camera light, lighting them and make it a little more dramatic. Of course. Yeah. Or your group shot. Can you stage your group shot here? Yeah. Oh, these are the kind of elements that I just dig looking for, when you're walking around a wedding scene or a site or something and you're looking for a place to shoot. You're like, oh, this is it. I'm going to shoot there. Yeah. Yeah. No, I like it. Yeah. There's some places like this in Sacramento. There's one, I know of one staircase that's like this, and that's adjacent to some government building. And I've always wanted to shoot there. Now I'm, thanks to Craig, I'm inspired to head over there and see if I can't shoot it. This is cool. I love it. I love the geometry of this. There's all the lines converging and circles, and it's full of geometry and math. Gotta love it. Big points for seeing this. And the other thing is too, when I see stuff like this, I see smaller images within it. So walking up and getting the horizontal lines with the little rivets or dots, and then intersecting where the stairs are, I see that as a framed image. So I would walk around and shoot those little details, and pick up all those sort of abstract elements, which is I just dig that stuff. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. All right, Craig, thank you for sending those over, or for sending this one over. Why I said those? I have those in my brain right now because what we were talking about offline, and Craig. Yeah. Which we will reveal later. We can't talk about it right now, but we'll reveal it later. Secrets. Yeah, that's cliffhangers. That's a cliffhanger. All right, so let's move on. This next shot is from member Howard Yermish. Check this out. Very nice. Yeah, this is really cool. This is like Mars, if Mars still had water. Right? Yeah. This is great because it feels like it's a long exposure. I'm pretty sure it's a long exposure. The ocean, the water looks nice and soft right at the edge, so we don't see any little waves or ripples caught. And that's just what a neat technique to use on an image like this. I kind of struggle with that big rock in the foreground, but I don't dislike it. I wonder, ooh, should I crop it? Should I not crop it? Yeah. Because I love the highlight. I keep going to background on this because I think, when I look at this image, I thought Craig Colvin, and oh geez, one of his nude shots with a woman on one of these rocks, or the one that has the water, that rock on the left right there. Yeah, totally. And then you had shifted to black and white, right? So no, not this one. Yeah, I mean, if you put the woman or if you put a model or something in there, you might want to, but depending on what the composition was. But I think this has good tones in it, and I love the highlights that are scraping across the rocks, and this is one of those kind of shots that Howard had to get there and decide, like, I'm going to take this shot, do a long exposure, however long that was, because you only get a couple when you're doing long exposures because that sun's gone. Yeah. Right. So. Yeah, this is whether you put a human in here or not, it's a cool scene, and I love the shooting straight into the sun. That doesn't happen a lot. That's nice. Yeah, no, very nice. Good job, Howard. Look at that. All right, you ready to move on to the next one? Yes, sir. All right, our good friend Steven Scharf is in the house with black and white shot. Look at this. How's this for story? This is killer. This is great. I mean, like, if this was going to be entered in competition in like the photojournalism category, this would do exceptionally well because there's so much going on. There's so much story. He's made an intentional effort to, center the story from the paper on the ground to the bench in the front to the dog on the left, head space at the top. Those are all things that really show intention. Mm-hmm. And the more you look at this, the more things you see. Great. It's just great.
Yeah, I look at this and it's just a story. You can tell that this is not the first time that these, what is it, 3 or let's say 4 Earthlings, right? There's 4 Earthlings in here. So, can you see 4?
I can. Well, there's 2 dogs.
Yep, there you go. They're Earthlings.
Yeah. The 2 dogs. Yeah,
2 dogs and 2 humans. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not the first time that this crowd has been in the spot, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, probably not.
Wow.
But this is great. I mean, this is good. This is really nice.
Yeah. What a story. I love these kind of photos that tell a story.
Yeah, and I have nothing to add. I mean, I couldn't, I would hope if I seen the scene like this that I could do this good a shot, right? Like this is very well composed.
This is very Norman Rockwell, right? It could be a painting.
Yeah.
Could easily be a painting. Yeah. Very
good
cool.
job.
Yeah, Stephen, thank you for submitting that. All right, moving on to our friend Kyle Nishioka. Look at this. This is alien.
Yeah,
this feels alien.
He made a comment in TWiP Pro because I'm like, what the heck is this? So this was taken from a lookout, Haleakala. I probably butchered that. Sorry. National Park on the island of Maui. Oh, okay. So this is actually a lookout.
Wow.
That's just amazing.
It looks like a drone shot.
Could you get I guess you could get the stars in a drone shot.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. Well, I'm assuming you could. I've never tried it, so maybe that's a good astrophotography experiment right there. Can you do a drone shot and get the Milky Way in there or something?
Right. Well, you were saying, was it Chris has like several drones, so we should get him to go try.
Yeah, community manager Chris Berry. I think he has a little mini Air Force over there in Arizona that he could order one up to go do the shot. Maybe we'll ask him.
Yeah, I love this. This is such a unique perspective, and this is a good example of a shot that isn't really technically complicated, right? I mean, it's a tripod, a little bit longer exposure. But the image becomes much more appealing because it's a unique perspective. Mm-hmm. Maybe something that if somebody else had stood in this spot and taken the photo the day before, the day after, might not have gotten this. Yeah. Because the clouds were moving, or maybe the cloud shape wasn't there, or the storm had moved out, whatever it is. Yeah, it's really nice. It's really, really well done. I like it. It's really cool.
I agree. Yeah, it looks nice. It looks like it was taken from a plane. That was my first inclination was he got a really nice shot out of the window of that plane.
Yeah.
But no. Very nice. Yeah, and it's a longer exposure too, because you can see, if you look close, you can see there's some little I don't know if that's probably a shooting star in there, kind of in the upper right third intersection. You see a little line in there?
Oh yeah, that's probably a shooting star. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we know it's probably not longer than the 15th or 20th of a second, because otherwise the stars would have moved.
Right. Yep. Which I'm learning as I continue my journey, to learn this astro stuff. All right. Well, cool. Let's move on to the next one. This next one is from Gavin Steiner, a new member. Welcome, Gavin.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a really neat image, and there's a really cool story behind this on TWiP Pro that made this image more impactful for Gavin. But just aside from the story, I love what the image is saying, and not even knowing his story, why he took the photo. Mm-hmm. This father, or maybe uncle, or it could be brother, could be anything, and this older gentleman, and then this younger kid hanging out together. The kid's hand on, we'll call it Dad's arm. I just think it's a wonderful storytelling moment, and I think those are really neat.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, and it's a good illustration of how a few words can change the whole context of the image for you in your head, right? Because like you said, like this image stands on its own. It's interesting, back of the head, unique perspective, and the hand on the arm. He even mentioned, I think, in the comments on TWiP Pro that he was considering cropping into just a hand on the arm, which is an option as well. But it is a good example of how a few words of context to go along with it, to what the artist was thinking when they created a particular work, goes a long way to help us connect the dots in our minds about, what's going on here, and make it even more of an impactful image as we look at it.
Right. And I would be really interested to see the same crop in the color version. Because I'm guessing well, no, but follow me, just so that you can see the difference between how color tells a story of the same image and then the black and white. Because I think if this had color in it, it would probably be distracting.
Yeah.
I don't know what color his hat is, or the woman's shirt is in the background, or whatever.
Yeah.
Or the wall, but I would love to see what that difference is, because I think, this is an example of where black and white is perfect, because we're not distracted by that color, no matter what the color tones are.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Hey, when you're shooting in black and white, so a quick aside question, are you shooting in RAW, and then, with the eye that you're going to convert to black and white when you get back to either Capture One or Lightroom, or are you using a black and white camera profile inside your camera and seeing, through TTL, on your Sony, are you seeing the image in black and white, or are you seeing it on the LCD as black and white, or what's your flow?
So when I shoot with the Nikon, I don't change the profile, because I'm only looking at composition and stuff anyway. But when I shoot with the Sony on the infrared, I absolutely convert it to black and white. In camera, I have a black and white profile. And then even if I'm using the color Sony and I want to complement the infrared in black and white, I switch it to a black and white. Okay. Because it's so amazing to be able to look through the viewfinder and see the world in black and white, because it immediately changes your perspective on what you're going to focus on. Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's move on to the next. Whoop, I scrolled up by accident. Let's move on to the next one here. The next one is from our friend Tim Engel. Look at that. Tim in there throwing down with this is beautiful and creepy. I don't know why.
I just submit to Tim's amazingness on this image. This is just so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like everything from even how he made the creative decision not to let the background go black, it's a little sort of grayish or underexposed, and the whole image itself has a little bit. It feels like it's slightly, I don't know. It feels magazine-y. I don't know. It's a great job, Tim.
I struggle with flat.
That's
images.
What I'm looking for. Flat. Yeah.
I struggle with those, but I've got to say, having done more of these critiques with you and seeing Tim's work and some of the other photographers, seeing this style, I like it. It's not something that I'm probably going to adopt, but I like it. I mean, it's nice, especially with skin tone, right? Like that skin tone is really cool. This is an image that I want to know how this was done. Right. Like aside from just, a really creative commercial potential or portfolio image, like how long did it take to get those flowers there?
Yeah.
And kudos to that model. Right. Like,
yeah,
good job.
Yeah, well, kudos to the photographer, kudos to the model, and kudos to the makeup artist / stylist. That pulled all this together. It's a good illustration of how collaborative commercial photography and fashion photography can and should be, right? Because all this did not come out of the mind of Tim. Tim probably collaborated with the makeup artist and the stylist to come up with the look, and then he captured it, so this is a group effort, I think. But I'd love to hear the story, Tim, if you're listening / watching on TWiP Pro. Give us some context on this image in your post. We'd love to.
Do we know what he shot any of this with? Did he give us any?
Oh, Tim's a Nikon shooter. He shoots everything with Nikon.
Well, yeah, but I want to know what
the lens is. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah. Because it looks shallow. The other thing that I was going to say is this shows intention. That's one of the amazing things in photography that really lifts up the quality of the image is intention. And very much like Stevens for his photojournalistic shot, he was very intentional in how he cropped it. This image is very intentional as far as lighting and the depth of field, because like the ears are out of focus, the neck is out of focus. So there was some very intentional use of lens choice, depth of field, lighting control, makeup, you know, all those things.
Yeah.
And it really does play well in the image.
Yep.
This would do really well in competition. This would do super good in competitions.
Hey, Tim, do you hear that? Time to submit. Time to submit. All right. Well, cool. Well, thank you, Tim Engel, for submitting this one. Looks like we're on the last one. This is a late entry from our good friend Andy S. She submitted this one about an hour ago, but she made it under the deadline. Let's take a look at this one.
You know, the first thing I'm looking when I see Andy's name is I'm looking for something that's been composited or, you know, but because that's been like her forte. But you know, from a photojournalistic perspective, what great timing. You know, I love the shards of rock that are flying off of that chisel, and the guy in the background watching. You know,
I was going to ask you about that. What you thought about that guy back there? I like the guy back there personally.
I do for a photojournalistic shot. If you were doing this as like a promo or a portrait shot for this guy, you know, if he's a craftsman and you're doing something for him, I would say, well, it would be ideal that you didn't have that spectator in there and that pole coming out of his arm. But in a photojournalistic type shot, I think the environment around your subject is really important. So
yeah. I mean, you could even crop in a little bit on that guy. But what I'm interested in what she was thinking with the processing of this, because it looks like she desaturated it, but not completely. Like she left a little bit of color in there. So I'm curious, and it doesn't bother me at all. I mean, it gives the image kind of this sort of cool, almost black and white, but not black and white look. So, Andy, if you can let us know in TWiP Pro what the artist's thought process behind desaturating it but not completely desaturating it was.
Yeah. No, great image, great capture, good timing. You know, you could do a little dodging and burning in post to bring his face up a little bit, bring his shoulders down, his right arm. I mean, you know, you can really change the focus of where the viewer is. This image, the top of his right shoulder is one of the brightest areas of the image. Oh yeah. And so your eye's always going to go there, as opposed to, you know, the look on his face, that intent focus. So some dodging and burning could really help this image a lot. But I mean, it's photojournalism. I'm going to call it photojournalism. Yeah. So it works well. Yeah. She's showing her range, right? Because she's a compositing artist, and we've seen some, you know, over the weeks we've seen a wide range of different shots from Andy, and photojournalism and capturing the decisive moment, like in this shot, is just one of them. So yeah, good work. I'm impressed. She's doing good stuff in TWiP Pro. Cool. I think that's the last one on our list to go through. Any parting shots before we end this one? Good job to everybody. I mean, it's always, you know, we might say the same thing, but it's always true. You know, to pull out some images and put them in there for critique is tough. We got a couple new people, play this time. I think that's fantastic. So I look forward to seeing that. I think I'm going to make a little challenge, right? I think we need to get over 12 images. I think 12 is our max. Yeah. You know, well, you know what? It's going to happen. Don't be careful what you wish for, Troy Miller, because, you know, so far, TWiP Pro has been kind of in a beta state, right? So because we had to move over from Slack over to Mighty Networks and all that, I haven't purposely promoted TWiP Pro very much at all. There's been no like dedicated emails or social or any of that stuff. So that's going to happen soon. And, you know, so you're asking for more. You're gonna have like 30 one day, and you're like, you remember when the days we only had 9 or 10? You know? Yeah. Well, hey, if you get 30, that's just that's a metric of success. Yes. You know. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. Cool. All right, man. Well, thanks for the time today. Once again, this is our 25th episode. So wow, this is officially our 25th anniversary doing the photo critique.
What's 25 in marriage? What is that? Like, is it like silver or gold?
Forever? Oh, so you mean like
the stone? Like it's silver or gold or some kind of element. I forget what it is. I don't know. Well, whatever it is. Happy anniversary, Troy Miller.
Yeah, happy anniversary.
All right, man. We'll see you next time.
All right, take care.
Peace. This is TWiP.